Lisa keeps her posture steady. Your Honor, if you review the evidence, you'll see my client was nowhere near the crime scene. Security footage, eyewitness accounts, and phone records all prove his innocence. Wallace exhales loudly, flipping through a few pages without any real interest. Miss Carter, do you expect me to believe every piece of so-called evidence you bring in here? Lisa remains firm. I expect you to uphold the law and review the facts objectively. Wallace chuckles dryly. Objectivity, that's rich. He leans back. This court has seen enough. The prosecution has made a strong case, and I see no reason to entertain any further distractions. Lisa gestures toward the table. Your Honor, my client has been sitting in jail for months over a case built on weak, circumstantial evidence. If you'd allow me to call just one key witness, Wallace slams his gavel. Enough! I will not let you waste this court's time with baseless arguments. A low murmur spreads through the courtroom. Lisa steadies her breath. She knew getting a fair hearing today would be an uphill battle, but she isn't backing down. She glances at the prosecution's table. They sit comfortably, knowing the judge is on their side. Meanwhile, Michael, a man whose entire future depends on this moment, sits with his hands clasped together, waiting for someone to do what's right. Lisa meets Wallace's gaze. Are you denying my client a fair trial? Wallace leans forward. I am denying you the opportunity to grandstand. Now, unless you have anything useful to add, I suggest you sit down and accept the outcome. Lisa tightens her grip on the podium. So, just to be clear, Your Honor, you refuse to review exculpatory evidence? You refuse to hear a key witness? Wallace waves her off. I refuse to entertain nonsense. The jury has already been given enough to deliberate. Lisa glances at the jury. Some of them shift uncomfortably in their seats. A few look away. They can feel the imbalance, the injustice playing out right in front of them. She exhales, then speaks loud enough for everyone to hear. The law is meant to serve justice, not personal bias. Wallace smirks. Then maybe you should find another courtroom. Another murmur ripples through the audience. Lisa checks the time. A few more minutes. That's all she needs. Lisa doesn't move. Your Honor, you're dismissing a case without reviewing critical evidence. That is a violation of due process. Wallace scoffs. Due process? I've been on this bench longer than you've been practicing law. I know when a case is a waste of time. Lisa steadies her voice. A waste of time or an inconvenience to your personal views? Wallace leans forward. Watch yourself, Miss Carter. I suggest you take your seat before you make matters worse for your client. Lisa doesn't back down. Worse? My client has already spent months in jail for a crime he didn't commit. His entire future is on the line, and you refuse to even look at the facts. Wallace taps his gavel impatiently. I don't owe you an explanation. I run this court as I see fit. Lisa holds up a single sheet of paper. And does that include ignoring a formal complaint filed against you with the Judicial Review Board? Wallace's expression flickers. Excuse me? Lisa places the document on the podium. Multiple attorneys have reported you for misconduct. This is just the latest in a series of questionable rulings. Wallace shifts in his seat. That's enough. Lisa doesn't stop. If you dismiss this case without reviewing the evidence, this courtroom will witness another complaint filed, this time with the entire proceeding recorded and submitted as proof. The room is silent. Wallace glares at Lisa. You're bluffing. Lisa tilts her head. Am I? Or are you just realizing that your position doesn't make you untouchable? Wallace's fingers tighten around the gavel. This hearing is over. Lisa doesn't move. Then you won't mind if I read this statement aloud before we adjourn. The judge's jaw tightens. The tension lingers for a moment longer. Then the doors to the courtroom open. A bailiff steps inside. Judge Wallace, we need to speak with you immediately. Wallace's face darkens. Lisa watches, knowing the next few moments will change everything. Wallace pushes back from the bench, gripping the sides as if steadying himself. This is some kind of joke. I demand an explanation. One of the agents steps closer. Judge Wallace, you're being charged with obstruction of justice, bribery, and conspiracy to commit fraud. Wallace shakes his head. You have no right, Lisa interrupts. Actually, they do. And so do the victims you've sentenced unfairly over the years. The second agent pulls out a document. We have financial records tracing payments from private prison investors straight to your accounts. Testimonies from court clerks, transcripts showing a pattern of bias, and communications proving collusion in wrongful convictions. Wallace's voice rises. This is ridiculous. I've served this court for decades. Lisa doesn't flinch. And in those decades, you destroyed lives for profit. Wallace turns to the courtroom. Are you all just going to sit there and let this happen? Silence. Some attorneys exchange looks. A few people nod in quiet approval. The agent reaches for Wallace's arm. You'll have your day in court, but not from that bench. Wallace struggles as the cuffs click around his wrists. You think you've won? Lisa straightens. I think justice has started. The agents lead Wallace toward the exit. Lisa turns to Michael, still seated in shock. Your case isn't over, Michael. You're getting the fair trial you deserve. The courtroom doors close behind Wallace. A different kind of silence settles in the room, one that feels like change. As Wallace is escorted out, murmurs spread through the courtroom. The judge's downfall is now public. The clerk clears his throat, shuffling papers. In light of the evidence presented, the charges against Michael Davis are officially dismissed. Mr. Davis, you are free to go. A beat of silence. Michael exhales sharply, still processing. It's over. Lisa nods. It's over. Michael rubs his face, his voice unsteady. I don't even know what to say. If you hadn't fought for me, Lisa offers a steady look. You deserve the truth to be heard. That's all that matters. The weight of the moment settles. Then the courtroom doors burst open. A flood of reporters and cameras rush in, microphones pointed. Miss Carter, how does it feel to take down a corrupt judge? Lisa meets their gaze without hesitation. This isn't just about one man. This is about a system that has failed people like Michael for too long. But today, justice won, and that means everything. A reporter shouts another question. What's next for you? Lisa takes a breath and then speaks with conviction. There's still more work to do, and I won't stop fighting until the system changes, for good. The screen fades to black, and the words appear. Justice is a fight worth having. Never back down. What do you think of Lisa's stand? Would you have done the same? Like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories.